And we are live.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. My name is Isaac Heschel, and I serve as the chairperson of this incredible group of dedicated individuals, which is the Community Action Board. I thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us tonight as we continue in our role, working together with DYCD, which helps the community at large in so many great ways. I begin now by asking Susie Tannenbaum, be so kind and do the roll call.
I would be pleased to do the roll. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good evening, everyone. Happy April. We are about to do the roll call. So when I say your name, I ask that you either tell us you are here or present. From representing City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, Lynette Shelbourne Barfield.
Here.
Wonderful to
Good
see you,
evening.
Lynette.
Thank you. Same here.
Representing the Office of the Mayor, Eric Adams, Adams's Community Affairs Unit. We don't have anyone tonight. Okay. Office from State Assembly Member Jeffrey Ann Aubrey, Louise Emanuel.
Present.
Good evening, Louise.
Good evening.
Representing Boricua College, Moises Pereira or Ismael Sanchez. Forgive me, Anita, I am calling people who may not be here.
But it's fine. Everybody.
Representing region number 6, apologies, region number 14, Brooklyn NDA 11, 13, and 15, Victoria Camarota Curto has been officially excused.
Mhm.
Region number 16, Queens NDA 1, 2, and 5, Claudia Koger. Not here yet. Representing region number 4, Bronx NDA 7 and 8, Yesenia Cardona.
Present.
Good evening, Yesenia. Thank you. Okay, representing Doc Go Incorporated, DYCD-CAB Second Vice Chairperson Gregory Hambrick.
Thank you, Susie. Present. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Greg. Representing Office of Bronxborough President Vanessa Gibson, Monica Major. Okay, hopefully she will be joining us. Representing region number 11, Brooklyn NDA 7, 10, and 12, DYCD-CAB Chairperson Isaac Heschel.
Present.
Good evening, Chairperson. Representing Office of Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, Christopher Carroll, not here. Representing region number 15, Brooklyn NDA 14 and 17, DYCD-CAB Parliamentarian Rhonda Joseph.
Present. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Representing region number 12, Brooklyn NDA 3, 8, and 9, Wayne King.
Present.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Representing region number 17, Queens 3, 4, and 7, Paul Mai.
Present.
Thank you. Good evening. Representing Morris Heights Health Center, Gideon Dunkley has been officially excused. Representing region number 6, Bronx NDA 11 and 12, Vasumati Patel.
Present.
Good evening, Mrs. Patel.
Good evening.
Representing Office of Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso, Astrid Quas.
Good evening, present.
Good evening. And did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay, great. Thank you. Representing Office of Queensborough President Donovan Richards, myself as DYCD CAB Secretary, and my colleague, Ludi Benor. Good evening, Ludi.
Present. Thank you, Susie.
And welcome, an official welcome. Representing Region number 8, Manhattan 7, 9, and 12, Jackie Rowe Adams.
Hi,
Good evening, Jackie.
good evening.
Great to hear you.
Thank you.
Representing Region number 9, Manhattan 10 and 11, Derek Tate. Okay. Representing Region number 13, Brooklyn NDA 5 and 16, Christopher Toomer.
Hello, everyone here.
Good, thank you. Good evening, Christopher. Representing UJA Federation of Jewish Philanthropy, New York City, DYCD CAB, third Vice Chairperson, Ariel Savransky.
Present.
Thank you, Ariel. Good evening. Representing United Neighborhood Houses, Nora Moran.
Present.
Thank you. Good evening. Representing UPS, Janet Dulugos.
Good evening. I'm present.
Great, thank you. Representing Region number 19, Staten Island 1, DYCD CAB first Vice Chairperson Linda Walters.
Present.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening.
Good evening.
Representing Office of the New York City Public Advocate, Brad Lander, Elizabeth Kennedy.
Present. Good evening, everyone.
Great, good evening. Thank you. And representing NAB Chairperson, NAB Chairperson Representative Brooklyn, Patty Ann Williams.
Yep.
Good
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening.
Good
Hi.
evening. Thank you.
Present.
Great. Is there anyone in attendance whose name was not called? No, did we call everyone?
You skipped Anderson Ortiz from the Controller's Office.
Well, my apologies.
Yeah. Anderson and, yeah. St. Francis College, Tirani Smith, Tirani Street.
Got it. Okay. I will talk to you about this after, Anita. My apologies. Office of New York City Controller Representative Anderson Ortiz. Good evening.
He's not here.
He's not here.
I don't think he's here. And, no, but I was just making sure. And also
From Boricua.
Joseph Pierre from Neighborhood Housing Services of Staten Island. Not yet. Okay. So.
Okay.
6, 7, 8. 18, 20. We have 20, Mr. Heschel.
So we need,
We need 3 more.
correct. So we can't really go ahead and recognize the representatives because we can't vote on it, or should,
You should just read the letter into the record and then we can go back
Okay.
and do the voting once we
vote
have,
them? Okay,
or,
fine, perfect. So let me begin with recognition of Miss Lynette Shelburne Warfield as the representative to the council speaker, Adrian Adams. Following letter was received dated April 6th. Dear Mr. Heschel, pursuant to Article 3, Section 1B of the Community Action Board bylaws for the City of New York, I am designating Lynette Shelburne Barfield District direct on my staff as my representative at CAB meetings. Ms. Shelburne Barfield may be reached by email or by telephone. The numbers are attached. I'm also designating Terrell Hankerson, Director of Community Outreach, as an alternate representative should Ms. Shelburne Barfield not be able to attend the meeting. Mr. Hankerson can be reached at the email or the telephone numbers that were provided. Sincerely, Adrian E. Adams, New York City Council Speaker. Also recognizing Miss Ludi Thanor as the alternate representative of Queensborough President Donovan Richard office. This letter is dated March 24, 2022. Dear Mr. Heschel, pursuant to Article 3, Section 1B of the Community Action Board bylaws for the City of New York, I am designating Ludi Thinner, Director of Youth Services, to serve as my alternate representative on the DYCD-CAB. Susan Tenenbaum, very familiar name. That's not in the letter, that familiar part. Director of Nonprofit Opportunities will continue to serve as my primary representative on the Community Action Board. We look forward to our continuing our collaboration with the DYCD and to supporting the important work of the CAB. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Donovan Richards Jr., President, Borough of Queens. Thank you for that. We will also now recognize Miss Astrid. Is it proper Suas? What is the proper
It's Quas.
pronunciation? Was. My apologies.
That's okay.
Director of Capital and Expense Budget as the representative for the Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso. Dear Mr. Heschel and Ms. Julian, this letter is dated March 28, 2022. Pursuant to Article 3, Section 1B of the Community Action Board bylaws for the City of New York, I am designating Astrid Kuas, Director of Capital and Expense Budget, on my staff as my representative at the Community Action Board meetings to replace my previous designee, Gregory E. Lewis. Ms. Kuas may be reached at her email or at the phone numbers which are provided. Thank you for your courtesy in the matter. Sincerely, Antonio Reynoso, Brooklyn Borough President. So we have the three letters. We still short, Anita, because I think
I have one person on the phone who isn't Mrs. Patel. Who's on the phone, please? It's the 718-774-5029 number.
That's Wayne King.
Oh, that's Wayne King. You're on the phone? Okay, Wayne.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
I couldn't get in any other way.
No, I'm so sorry about that.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
There's problems on Zoom today. And then there's two other numbers also. Who else is on the phone? There's a 718-760-2563. I know you're muted, so I can't.
Anita, Louise Emmanuel.
That's Louise. Okay. I'm just checking because I didn't recognize your phone number. And the 917-586-3717. I lost it now. Okay, let me just count again. 1, 2, 3. Nope, we're still at 20.
Okay, so what we'll do is, even though we can't officially recognize them yet,
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask Lynette if she would like to say a few words to the board. Lynette?
Yes, good evening. I keep saying good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. As I was introduced, my name is Lynette Shelbourne Barfield. I'm the district director for Speaker Adrian Adams. Many may know me. I just ended my tenure with State Senator Leroy Comrie. And I'm looking forward to being that support to this effort on behalf of the speaker. This is my first meeting of this type, so I'll learn along the way as well. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on board, Lynette. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Ludi, if you would be so kind, and if you want to address the board, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairperson. I am Ludi Thanor, the Director of Youth and Adult Services for the Borough President. It's a new initiative that the Borough President wanted to launch to focus his attention on engaging our youth, especially our 18 to 24-year-olds, which are called the disconnected runaway youth. Thank you for Susie for offering and including me as an alternative for this amazing board. And I hope to learn so much and connect with you all on engaging our youth across the borough and in New York. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ludi. Welcome. Last but not least, Astrid, if you want to be so kind, address the board.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Astrid, Budget Director for BP Reynoso. Just like Lynette, very new to being on a board, so I'm very excited to learn and be a part of all the work that DYCD is doing, and hopefully filling in the shoes of Candace Julian, who was our former rep from the Borough President's Office and is now with DYCD. So thank you all.
Thank you, Astrid, and welcome all three of you. We're delighted to have you as part of the CAB family.
Mr. Chair, we have quorum.
Oh, excellent. So we're now going to circle back. Who joined for the record? So we.
Ms. Codger. Ms. Codger and Mr. Tate joined. And I believe Mr. Pierre. So we're good.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
On the record.
I will now entertain a motion to recognize Ms. Lynette Shelbourne Barfield as the representative for the council speaker, Adrian Adams. Motion to accept.
Linda, motion to accept.
Linda, thank you for the first, seconded by.
Second, Jackie.
Jackie, thank you for the, Jackie Adams for the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. We will now recognize Ms. Ludi Thenner as the alternate representative for Queensborough President Donovan Richards. I will entertain a motion to accept.
I would like to make that motion.
Go ahead with pleasure.
I move to accept Ludi Thanor as the Borough President's alternate rep to the DYCD CAB.
Excellent.
Seconded by Greg Hambrick.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. We will now entertain a motion to recognize Ms. Astrid Kuas as a representative for the Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso. Motion to accept.
Wanda Joseph, I make the motion.
Rhonda, thank you. Seconded by
Chris Toomer.
Chris Tuma, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you. Moving on. I will now ask Artis Sanmugan, the Senior Budget Director, to present the Financial Program Quarterly Report. Good evening, Artis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and thank you. I'd like to extend my welcome as well to the 3 new members. And I'm going to craft my presentations since you have no previous knowledge of DYCD. But first, I will share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
You're on.
Awesome. Great. Good evening again. I am the Senior Budget Director at DYCD, and the CSBG program is under my purview. For city fiscal year 22, we have a CSBG budget of nearly $39 million. It's about $18,000 less. The CSBG budget is allocated among 3 areas: our program contracts, which is our direct services program, and it represents 82% of our budget in this year. The next section is the other contractual services, which supports our direct services, and that's at 5%. And then rounding it out is the DYCD personal services at 13%. For the program contracts, we have a variety of programs that this fund. Of the $39 million, nearly $32 million is allocated to this. And the biggest chunk is for the neighborhood development group of programs at $15.6 million. The immigration and refugee assistance program is one of our smallest at $591,000. We have a legal services intercity with our sister agency, HRA, and that's at $2.1 million. A small portion of the NICALI is funded with CSBG, and that's at just over $500,000. The Fatherhood Initiative is $2.8 million. We have an adolescent literacy program of around $827,000. And finally, in this city fiscal year, our SYP budget is $9.4 million. That totals to $31.8 million, and I've said previously, represents 82% of our award. We have had some issues with contracts registration in this city fiscal year. To date, around 60% of our NDA contracts are registered, meaning that about 40% is still going through the registration process. And when contracts are not registered, it means that our providers can't submit invoices for us to reimburse them. And that means that DYCD's expenses will look lower than it should. So for our expenses as of March 2024, our NDA expenses is $2.4 million. And that represents 15% of the budget. Immigration refugee assistance program is coming in at just under $43,000 at 41% of its budget. HRA is at 43% spending rate. The NICALI program is at a 48% spending rate. The Fatherhood Initiative is at 46%. Adolescent literacy is 25%, and the SYP program is over at 100% spending rate. Folks will notice that our payments, this is our payments column, this is our expense column. Folks will notice that even though we have expenses of just under $15 million, we have paid more than that amount. And that is because DYCD offers our providers an advance at the start of the fiscal year so that they can carry out their startup activities before the program actually starts and before they actually submit invoices to us. So on average, we provide an advance of about 25% of a provider's budget. From July through December, we do not recoup those advances. But for invoices that are submitted starting from January through June, we start to recoup those advances. So presently, our payments are higher than our expenses, and that's because of the advances. By the end of June, we usually fully recoup our advances so that expenses and payments are equal to the same. So from a payments perspective, we have payments of 57% of the award, and the highest obviously is at SYP since that program is over. Fatherhood is coming in at 74%. NICALI is at 72%. The Immigration Refugee Assistance Program at 67%. And the lowest is the NDA, which has the bulk of our contracts that are unregistered at this time. The balance to be vouchered for 2022, city fiscal year 2022, is $13.5 million. And now to focus on our other contractual programs. These are purchases we make to support our direct services. So we have the largest portion of this section is our technical assistance budget of $1.6 million. And unlike the program contracts, there are no advances in these categories. So you'll notice that expenses matches payments, and that's for the technical assistance, it's $521,000. That's the largest area. We have allocation and spending in the fiscal field review sections of $194,000 budgeted, $24,000 spent. Fiscal agent services of just under $19,000 budgeted and just over $4,000 spent. We have spending on a variety of other administrative services such as marketing and public awareness and outreach, publications printing, employee development recruitment, travel, technology, and board development. We also have a budget set aside for stipends for our cabin and NAB members, and rounding that out is the central insurance program of $132,000. Overall, the budget is $2.1 million. Spending is $634,000, which represents 30% of the budget. Finally, the DYCD Personal Services has a budget of $5.1 million, and year-to-date expenses are at $2.6 million, which is 52%. Overall, for a budget of $39 million, we have expenses of $18 million, which represents 46% of the overall budget, payments of 55%, and the balance to be vouchered is 17.5. Based on historical spending in this portfolio, we expect that we will close the year at a 98% spending rate. And now to go to the comparison from our last meeting. Compared to our meeting in November, I'm sorry, in February, the date is incorrect. It should be February 17th. My apologies. We had spending for program contracts of nearly $13 million, and we only have an increase in spending of about $1.8 million. You'll notice that our auto contractual line has a weird number, which is a negative number. And this is because one of our technical assistance contract and the HRA Immigration Services contract is paid in the same budget structure. And previously we were listing some of those expenses in technical assistance rather than in the HRA. So our apologies for that error, but we've caught it and we're addressing it here. There's no change in our personal services at this time. We are in the process of conducting our third quarter cost allocation, and those numbers were not ready for this meeting. That is our financial report for this meeting. I am more than happy to answer questions that folks may have.
Any questions for Artis?
I have a quick question.
Hi, Susie.
Susie Tanneman. Hi, Artis. As always, thank you for an excellent presentation. And I noticed that the Neighborhood Development Group and the Adolescent Literacy Program have spent much less than the other programs. Is there a reason for that? And apologies if you already.
That's fine. Yes.
That.
The main reason for the low spending in the Neighborhood Development Group is citywide. There has been we are in the process of using a new system for our contracting in the city. And for a variety of reasons that I don't know all the details of, but there's been a slowdown in contract registration citywide. And this has affected DYCD because DYCD is the largest contracting agency in the city. And so we are mostly affected. But the NDA group had a contract renewal for city fiscal year 22. And that means that they had to go through a contract registration process. And as of today, 60%, only 60% of those contracts are registered. 40% are unregistered. And the ones that are registered are fairly newly registered, meaning they were registered within the last 4 to 6 weeks. And providers have not, for those contracts that are newly registered, we're slowly getting the invoices being submitted. And that is the reason for the low spending at this time for the neighborhood development group. To some extent, that's also the case with adolescent literacy group.
Thanks.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Artists, as always, thank you for the excellent report and for the outstanding work you do.
Thank you so much. Now, if I can only figure out how to unshare my screen, I will.
I'm not worried, you'll figure it out.
All right. Well, I actually I'm gonna leave the meeting, and then that will make me because I'm having my computer is freezing at the moment, so my apologies. I'm gonna mute myself. Oh, there it is. Awesome, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, artists. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, all, and welcome again. Bye.
We will now entertain a motion to accept the financial program quarterly report. Motion to accept.
Linda, accept the motion.
Linda, thank you. Seconded by?
Derek Tate.
Eric Tate. Thank you for the second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you very much. I will now ask the Honorable Mike Bobbitt, the Deputy Commissioner, to present the Commissioner's report.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that not necessarily deserved honorific, but I appreciate you all the same. Good evening, members, and again, welcome new members. I have a few things I want to bring to your attention, good news to share. On February 17th, I attended on behalf of Commissioner Chong and DYCD the meeting of the New York State Department of State's CSBG Advisory Council. That was the final meeting for Deputy Secretary of State Vilda Mayuga, who's been a great and enthusiastic supporter of the CSBG network. But I wanted the board to know she's left state government to come to New York City government. And she is now the commissioner for the New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. DYC is already working very closely with DCWP. So we look forward to strengthening our rapport with that agency under Commissioner Mayuga's leadership. This meeting was also an introduction to Robert J. Rodriguez, who is the acting Secretary of State. The Secretary praised the network for our consistent efforts to alleviate conditions of poverty, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with DOS under his leadership. I have some good news. CSBG funding was authorized to the end of the federal fiscal year, so that's through September 30th. So we want to thank Congress for their resolve to sustain this important funding stream. Over the period, DYC and other community action agencies can continue to serve individuals and families who are up to 200% of the federal poverty guidelines. And as a reminder, that was put in place to help providers adapt to delivering services during the coronavirus pandemic. So we're very happy the federal government has continued to give us this greater flexibility to use CSBG. And we certainly hope they'll see to its continuance past the end of this federal fiscal year. More good news. This morning, DYCD held its annual Building Bridges event. As the CAB members will recall, the idea to advise current and prospective grantees about other funding opportunities was incepted by the NABs, and we continue to look to them to help spread the word when we hold these convenings. And they must be doing a good job. Between their efforts and DYC's efforts, we had a wonderful turnout today with over 475 registrants. So we think we finally hit on the formula for doing these. This month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which, as members of the CAB may know, the goal of which is to raise public awareness about sexual violence and to educate communities and individuals on how to prevent it from occurring. One of the highlights of Sexual Assault Awareness Month is Denim Day, which, for the board's edification, if you didn't know, it grew out of a case in which a rape conviction was overturned because the judge reasoned the victim's tight jeans meant she had to have helped her assailant remove them, implying consent. So as a response to that verdict, there has been an international campaign of wearing denim and amplifying the importance of consent. This year, we're encouraging DYC employees to wear denim on April 27th to raise awareness of this issue and to make a very visible social statement about the misconceptions around sexual violence. And I invite the CAB and the NAB members to also wear denim on April 27th and help spread word of this important issue. Also, on April 27th, from 4 to 6 p.m., we will hold a DYC barbershop discussion specifically about Denim Day. So please encourage your larger networks to log into YouTube and to attend it. NAB recruitment is well underway, and I want to credit Anita and the team. NABLU members have been presenting at provider meetings, meeting with the community boards, borough boards, for the community boards, the general and the committee meetings, the Department of Education's Community Education Committee meetings, as well as at tenant associations and parent associations. So we want very much to continue to spread the word about NAB membership, and we invite your ideas of other ways to amplify that. Our staff is also continuing to work in conjunction with DYC's Intergovernmental Affairs Unit. Importantly, we want to bring newly elected representatives and staff up to date and up to speed on CSBG and the need to recommend members to refer members to their seats on the NABs. The next NAB member orientation will be held April 27 and April 28, evening and afternoon sessions, respectively. An update on the NDA RFP contracts. I know you're all eagerly awaiting news of that. Proposal evaluation conferences are winding down, and contract awards will be published shortly. We're thinking ahead. So my final item is to remind folks the 2022 Community Needs Assessment will be coming up very shortly, and trainings will be held within the next month or so. As always, we invite CAB members to attend and to help us with the surveying. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm happy to remind or state if I neglected to say it before. We're greatly pleased there will be an online version of the survey made available, and we expect that tool to help us dramatically increase our survey yield and make it easier for New Yorkers, both those that live within the NDAs and this time around from everywhere around the city, to weigh in on the highest presenting needs in the community. So that concludes the commissioner's report. We are awaiting notice, which we anticipate will come soon, as to the appointment of the next commissioner. And when we have that news, certainly we will present it to the CAB at that time. Thank you, Chair. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate the report and the great work you do every day. We'll now entertain a motion to accept the commissioner's report. Motion to accept.
Chris Tuma, motion to accept.
Chris, thank you for the first. Seconded by Jackie Rowe Adams. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved.
Thank you again.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
did we accept the minutes for the last cabin full meeting in February?
Actually, we did not, so we'll circle back to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's in the board packet.
I was just gonna say, in the board packet, you should have had the minutes for the February 17th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to accept.
Linda, thank you. Seconded by
Greg Hamburg, second.
Greg Hamrick. Thank you. Second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. On Thursday, March 24th, the Executive Board met to review the committee reports. I begin by asking our first Vice Chair, Linda Walters, to present the Governance Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. As per the Chair, the committee meeting was held on Wednesday, March 23rd, and the full minutes are in the board package. CAB vacancies, public sector, 5 mayoral appointees, Office of the Mayor Representatives, and Office of the Staten Island Borough President Representative. Low income sector, now I'm moving, to B, low income sector. The following regions are in the process of candidate search. Region 1, NDA, but I did hear Susan reading a bunch of stuff, but I'm gonna just go on with this that I was given. Region 1, NDA, Bronx 1 and 2. Region 3, NDA, Bronx 5 and 6. Region 7, NDA, Manhattan 3. Region 10, NDA, Bronx 1, 2, and 4. Region 18, NDA, Queens 12 and 14. And NAB, Chairperson for Bronx, Queens, Chair Representative for Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, and Staten Island. Old business, staff announced that the NDA RFP Reconciliation Conference are winding down and that a list of contracts awarded should be published. As Mike said, once published, the list will be sent to all CAB members. B, a question was asked about insurance, workers' compensation, and cybersecurity for the providers. Program providers are required to carry liability insurance and workers' compensation. Program providers are also given guidance by DYCD on cybersecurity and are required to have email addresses with their organization as its domain. In other words, they cannot use free email accounts such as Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, etc. And there was no new business. Does anybody have any, Nita, you want to jump in? Anybody have any questions?
No, you did great.
Linda, as always, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll now entertain a motion to accept the Governance Committee report. Motion to accept.
Basumati Patel.
Ms. Patel, thank you. Seconded by?
Seconded by Ariel.
Ariel, thank you for the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. We will now ask Greg Hambrick to be so kind and give the program committee report. Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Before I start the report, many people may not know, but just to the chair, want to extend my deepest condolences to you and your family. I know the week of the executive committee, you had a loss in your family, your sister-in-law. So want to let you know we're deeply saddened about it and express our condolences to you and your family on that loss.
Thank you very, very much. Much appreciated.
And welcome to the 3 new members. We look forward to your service on this board. So the program committee met on March 9th. We had a very great and exciting presentation by Yamilet Henry, who is the Director of Administration and Personnel for the Italian American Civil Rights League. So they focus a lot on providing work skills and life skills for students and young people for the workplace. It was a very engaging conversation. There's a very detailed summary of what was talked about in your packet, but they talked about providing very tangible work skills for these young people. But in addition to that, they really focused a lot on how they meet these young people where they are, talking about how to be independent, talking how to be sustainable in the job, how to meet the challenges of working in the workplace, how to manage thinking about, career choices when they have other factors that may affect, their decision to be able to do that, whether it's personal family situations, the challenging components of the pandemic, and the list goes on. So it was a very engaging conversation. They work in 14-week cohorts, have a lot of volunteers that provide a variety of mentorship to these individuals, and as much as possible, try to make it as a one-on-one type of peer mentorship opportunity. So very, very great conversation. Yamilet is, if you would have saw her presentation, and some of us that are here now was there to take part of it. She's extremely passionate about the program and what she does. I was very impressed, so much so that I talked to her about at a later time engaging in a conversation where I can assist in helping to mentor some of these young people, but also hopefully create a partnership for these individuals to work into some type of internship capacity with my organization, which is some of the things that we do currently. So great conversation. Certainly read a lot about it in the summary. I think the meeting ran maybe close to an hour. That's just how engaging it was. And then we commenced and talked next steps after that. And that was it. Does anyone have any questions at all on the organization or the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Jackie, I'm sorry.
Yes, Jackie, hi.
Hi, how are you? I'm
Good.
glad to hear that. So what kind of program? Just give me a couple of programs that is existing right now.
So Anita, help me if I'm wrong. This is the under the NDA Occupational Youth Program?
Opportunity Youth Program. It's an internship, a 14-week internship program, and they usually have 2 cohorts per year. They're going into their spring cohort now. So this is one of the neighborhood development area programs that we fund. So, and what I would say is that all CAB members get the invitation to the committee meetings, and exciting things happen in the committee meetings. So we invite everyone, and our new representatives are welcome to attend as well.
That's good. So what I guess I just wanted some specifics. Is it programs such as sports or
No, it's an internship program. It's a work skills
so it's a
program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an internship and career readiness program.
And it's also, and Ebony, if I'm saying anything wrong, you can jump in. And it's also for youth who are not in school and not working.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And it's a paid internship. So we actually pay them for the 14 weeks for 10 to 20 hours per week.
So that's not like the summer youth then. Is that connected or is
No,
it?
this is targeting 16 to 24-year-olds that are not currently in school or employed.
Fair, okay.
And it's, you know, they work during the day, right? So the fall cohort goes from September to December, and we're in the spring cohort that goes started March 7th, and it'll go until June 12th, I think. Mhm.
Very good. Okay.
And then most of those young people who still don't have permanent employment, the providers transition them into SYEP.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ebony. I didn't see you there, so good to see you
No
again.
problem.
We got to make this connection. We talked about that, so thanks for providing that context.
Any further questions for Greg? Greg, as always, thank you very much. Thank you for the outstanding work and for the incredible contribution to this board. I will now entertain a motion to accept the program committee report. Motion to accept.
Motion to accept, Jackie Rowe Adams.
Jackie Rowe Adams, thank you. Seconded by?
Seconded by Ariel.
Ariel, thank you for the second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. I now ask Ariel Savransky to be gracious enough to present the strategic partnership report. Ariel?
Thank you. So that was actually a good segue into the Strategic Partnerships Committee report. We spoke a lot about the Summer Youth Employment Program. As you all know, in years past, DYCD has led to CAB members and NAB members to both recommend youth to participate in the program, as well as recommend businesses that may be interested in participating in the program. Last year, there were about 75,000 young people who participated in SYEP, and there were 14,000 work sites. This year, as you all may have heard, the mayor announced that SYEP would be expanded to 90,000 young people, and then an additional 10,000 that will have similar work experiences through DOE and other organizations in the city. So that means that we need a lot more sites this year to accommodate the additional students who will be participating. So there's information in the board packet with where to make the recommendations for businesses to participate. And if you have any questions, if you have questions about whether a site is eligible or a good fit for the program, definitely feel free to reach out. DYCD is expecting to have about 20,000 work sites this summer, so that's a lot more than we had last year. Similar to last year, there will also be the Ladders for Leaders component, which is for specific young people who are in their later high school years, and they go through a comprehensive application process. So it's not just the lottery that most students will go through. And the program is looking to expand specifically in things like healthcare, technology, and entrepreneurship. There are going to be options for remote, hybrid, and in-person sites. So there will be something that will fit for all students who want to participate. Again, if you have any recommendations of sites that you think would be interested, definitely share. And if you need more information, there's some information in the board packet. And again, just reach out if you have additional questions. We got a little bit of an update from Melinda about some of the vacancies that we're seeing. I will just add that for the NABs, DYCD staff has been doing an amazing job with trying to fill some of the slots that that we have as a result of a basically newly elected city council. So, you know, there's a lot of relationship building to be done, and DYCD is really working to fill those slots. And then I believe later in the meeting, we'll be getting an update about the NDA 2021 progress. So I won't go into detail there. I think Anita is gonna give us some more information, and that was our meeting.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ariel? Motion to accept Ariel's Strategic Partnership Committee report.
Greg
Motion to-
Hambrick, motion to accept.
Greg, thank you. Seconded by
Linda,
Linda Walters. Thank you for the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you, Ariel, for the great work you do. I will now ask Ebony Jordan Wilson, the Senior Director, NDA Initiatives and Community Action Programs, to make her presentation. Good evening, Ebony.
Good evening, Chair, and thank you. Good evening, everyone. Ebony Jordan Wilson. I'm the Senior Director for the NDA Initiative and Community Action Programs. So tonight I want to let you guys know about our Spring into Health campaign. So a little bit of history on Spring into Health. So in 2016, DYCD took inventory and reviewed pilots and initiatives we had to promote health across DYCD. And so based on that, recommendations were developed by our Settlement House work group to help promote integration and help DYCD transform and improve its work and to promote healthcare. And so 6 key points that came out of that work group. And so we wanted to make sure that DYCD was promoting health insurance at our programs, promoting healthcare access to our programs, also making sure that DYCD programs, we were promoting our programs at hospitals, clinics, and healthcare centers, co-promote health messages and campaigns, promote careers in the healthcare sector, and prioritize the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene targeted neighborhoods. And so also out of all of this work, we actually entered into an MOU with Metro Plus, which still currently exists. So Spring into Health launched in 2017, our first round of events. And so as you can see, we started out with 706 participants attended. We had over 58 city partners tabled, and then we only had about 6 actual sites that participated. And then fast forward to 2019, we ended up having over 5,000 participants attend with 628 partners, and we actually had 45 sites that participated and hosted a Spring into Health event. So of course, due to the pandemic, we didn't have an in-person event in 2020 and 2021. So fast forward to, so this is actually some pictures from our 2019 campaign. So different locations where we had a whole host of agencies that had tables, from NYPD to FDNY. So this is basically what we hope for this to look like again in 2022. All right, so this year's campaign, we focused on 3 themes: wellness, workforce advocacy, and activate. The events that we have scheduled, so on April 29th, DYCD will actually host our kickoff event. So at this event, we hope to have a few speakers from Department of Mental Health, Health and Hospitals, and basically a few of the programs that participated back in 2019 and those that are actually participating again this year, to just share experiences and talk about what to expect at their events. So the campaign goes from May 2nd to May 28th. And so right now we have programs that will have an event in each of the 5 boroughs. On May 21st, we're going to have our signature event. And so this is basically where we're going to have programs, partners, and community members come together and celebrate the campaign. Key highlights. So this will definitely be our signature event to showcase what this Spring into Health is all about. All right, so interest and participation that we have currently. So in February, we launched a survey to gauge interest in participating in the campaign. So we had over 140 programs express interest, and they're participating in 4 ways. So we have 45 programs that actually want to host an in-person event. So that showed us that, you know, programs are ready to actually engage and have folks come back into their space. So most of them will be outdoors, making sure that we meet requirements and regulations. There's enough space for social distancing and all of that stuff to make sure that we maintain safety. We also have a virtual component. So we gave the option for folks to say if they wanted to have an in-person event or a virtual event. So we have 10 programs that will host a virtual event. We have 30 programs that will actually partner with the in-person or virtual events. And then we have 50 programs that will help us promote and also bring their participants and community members out to the virtual and or in-person events. We also have over 100 city, state, and private partners. We have DOH and MH, we have Health and Hospitals, we have FDNY, we have just a huge list of city partners that will have tables, actually do demonstrations, donate prizes. So we had a lot of interest, and we're super excited to launch these events. So next steps. So what we need, my ask for all of you, right? So by the end of next week, we should have our flyers and registration information ready, and we will definitely share that with Anita and her team and ask you to share that information with all of your constituents, your partners, your colleagues. There will be an event in every borough. Along with the registration and on the flyer, it will be the list of locations, dates, and times where all of these events will happen. Some will happen on the weekdays, some will happen on Saturdays. So all of that information will be there. And that is it. Any questions about the Spring into Health event? Awesome. One last thing I wanted to share that is we also have coming up our Community Moms event. And so we'll definitely be sharing this information with everyone as well, and asking for for you to share it, as well as possibly nominate someone. So this year's theme is a seat at the table. So we are in our 5th year, I believe, of Community Moms. So we ask you to nominate someone. It could be someone from the community. It could be one of your colleagues. And so we ask you we'll share this flyer with you. We ask you to look at it, share the nomination form. We'll ask you for a little sentence about this community mom you're nominating. And the deadline is Thursday, April 14th. And so the actual event is on May 12th, I believe at 11 a.m., but we'll get you all those details. So thank you all for having me, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chair. Thanks.
Tiffany, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. We will now entertain a motion to accept the presentation. Motion to accept.
Rhonda Joseph, I accept.
Rhonda, thank you. Seconded by
Vasumati Patel.
Ms. Patel, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. I will now ask somebody who needs no introduction, who's the vitally important, one of the most integral parts of this incredible organization, Anita, to present the 2022 Community Needs Assessment. Anita?
Okay, I'm here. I'm going to try and share my screen. So as you all know, we are getting ready for the 2022 needs assessment, and that's something that we have to do every 3 years. And the last one was in 2019, before the pandemic. And as I talk, I'm going to try and get this the screen sharing going. And that the 2019 one informed, it informed the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to just get it to go to work. The request for proposals that we are now about to have the contracts awarded for, that will begin in July 1st. But this next proposal will not inform an RFP. So we are expanding it to be not only in the NDAs, but also around the city. And the way we're going to find out where people are and what they need is we're going to ask everybody, what neighborhood do you live in? And anyone from New York City will be able to participate. Anyone, doesn't matter where you live, what your income is, who you are, how you what profession you have, none of it. So we hope to get as many surveys as possible. But to that end, let's see if I get it now. Towards that end, can you see my screen? No?
No, we cannot see your screen, Anita.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, I see. No, it's here. I got it. Maybe now. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yay. Oh, good, because I can't tell if you can see it or not. All right. So what we have here is an electronic survey. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
And this, anybody with the link would be able to do this. We are also going to have the paper surveys, and our NABs will be conducting the surveys in their community, in their neighborhood development area. But this is how the survey begins. It asks, select your borough, and my borough is the Bronx. And next. And then it says, which neighborhood do you live in the Bronx? And I have to tell our program evaluation unit to put a capital T before the in the Bronx. My neighborhood is Highbridge. Next, go next. And then it asks, in the past 12 months, what did you and or members of your household need? And you can choose as many as you like. Let's go, I'm just picking 3. And once you pick the ones, or once the person, whoever's filling it out, and they can also put other here, Say, okay, and then it's next. So you'll see here, with the skip logic, it chooses just, it puts in this next question where your needs met in these areas, it just picks the ones that you picked. It won't do the whole list. So here you would say, yes, my needs were met. No, they weren't met. No, they weren't met. And then you put okay. Next. And then it asks you what were the primary reason your needs were not met. And you would select these areas. Say okay, next. And this question is about your community, not yourself. What do you think the top 3 needs are in your community? So mental health, financial assistance, job skills, employment training. And again, there's always another, so that if there's something that isn't listed here, people can put it in. And next. And then it asks, are you a member of any of the following professions? And the reason we're asking that, because then we want to see what elected officials say, what faith leaders say, school leaders, and business leaders. So since I am none of the above, then it asks what your race is. And then it asks your ethnicity. Yes. And then it asks this question of how old are you? And it's like,
it's not optional?
Oh yeah, all of these are optional. I don't have to put anything in here.
Mm-hmm.
I can just say, okay, leave it blank, but I'll put a ridiculous number for me. And then your sex and your gender identity. And all of these, every single question here is optional. It'll just like the surveys we did on paper, people could answer as many questions or as few questions as they want. So if anybody doesn't want to answer any of these questions, they can. And your work status is employed. My household, although I have an adult living with me now, I'm still a single parent. Size of my household is 2. Total household income, let's say. That's what it feels like. And how would you describe your hurt? Oh, I'm lucky I own my house. Okay, it doesn't say what kind of disability, but I think we all have a little bit of disability. How do you get the information about programs, activities? How, I could pick. You can pick as many as you like here. And as I said before, that you don't have to pick any. And that's the end. So how long did that take? About 5 minutes, right? Isn't it great? So we're going to blast this link to this electronic survey. And as I said before, we're going to have the NAB members go out to their communities and do paper surveys. And if somebody's walking by and in a hurry to get to work, they can give them the link and let them do it electronically.
The computer froze? Okay.
No, I stopped sharing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. I stopped sharing this. So this is just to give you a sample of what it's going to be like. When we have more details, because we're still working out the details of the survey, we're going to ask you if you can help us to do the survey and help us spread the word about the electronic survey. And Rhonda's saying, this is great, finally. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Question.
Sure, questions.
Okay,
Jackie.
so, and given, I think the survey is good, and giving out these papers and someone say to me, well, what is it actually for? Where is it gonna go? Because, some people is
Sure.
private, some people got their reasons, but why they don't want to give. They need to know where it's going.
Sure. This survey is to assess what needs are in every community. And what we're going to do with this information is, DYCD will look at our programs and see if we're serving the communities. And maybe we have to put emphasis in different areas. But we're also going to share it with the rest of the city and the other agencies of the city, because if there's things coming up like mental health, that's something that our programs don't really address mental health. So we would have to share it with the Department of Health and the Health and Hospitals Corporation, agencies that can deal with those problems.
Right. So we know that, but we're going to be scripted. I mean,
yes, no. We're going to be scripted. There's going to be training in conducting the survey. We will invite the CAB members. The NAB members will all be trained.
Good.
So you will have information when people ask, where's this information? Where is this survey going? And what is it going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to share it with the rest of the city.
Okay.
Question. So the people that we're going to be interviewing for this survey, are they going to go online or are we going to go online? And if we're going to go online, if we're, are going to be the person that are inputting the information, are we going to have a laptop or?
No, no. What's going to happen is either you'll have a paper survey that the people can fill out themselves. Let's say we're tabling at an event, a community event. They can sit right there and fill out the paper survey.
Yeah, that I know.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that part I know, Anita, but you were showing us the computer ones. So I was wondering.
No, the electronic one is available also, because if people want to go online and do it, but like people will have to do it on their own computer or else on their phone. They'll be able to do it on their phone.
Okay.
We might have laptops if we're tabling and we're in one place. We might have that, and people can go online there and fill it out. But we're just widening our reach by using this electronic survey.
Okay, no, it's an excellent. Excuse me, it's excellent because people are very savvy and on the computer, but I was just curious, were we going to bring our own laptops or are people going to be?
No, you don't have
to go on their own laptops and do this?
Personal laptop, but people, a lot of people have phones now. A lot, a lot of people have phones, so you can give them the link. They can go on their phone and they can do it. They don't want to do that. They can fill out the paper survey.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
Yes. Any other questions?
I have a question. Anita, amazing. And thank you for walking us through your life and your community. That was a lot of fun. But the actual CSBG funding is going to continue to go to the organizations and the NDAs. Is that right? Even though this is going to be a survey of all New Yorkers, the funding continues to go to the NDAs, right?
The last needs assessment in 2019 informed the request for proposals that were now evaluating the proposals that came in. Those
Okay,
programs are going to start July 1st of this year. So those programs will be in place and operational while we do this other survey, because we're required by the state to do a community needs assessment every 3 years. So this is 2019 was last one, 2022 is this one.
Right.
right.
So-
I thought the needs assessment was specifically to ask residents in the NDAs what types of programs they wanted to see. So it's wonderful that, you know, we're going to be asking all New Yorkers what the needs are. I guess I don't see how that shift is happening,
Right.
and then how the survey information is going to continue to inform the allocation of funding.
This particular needs assessment is not going to inform
Okay.
the funding,
Okay.
because the funding has been informed and is going to go and will be happening July 1st.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So Maureen,
this is going to inform what's changed since 2019.
Okay.
It will allow us to plan for what's needed. If there are things that are really needed that did not come up in 2019, which may generate another RFP, probably not right away, probably within a couple of years, it'll generate another RFP, which we will do again. However, we're going to share the information with the rest of the city, the other agencies of the city. So what DYCD cannot provide, another city agency may provide. They may issue an RFP to provide those services, or they may be providing those services already.
So if I can, Jackie, is this what because we used to do it with the community boards. Is this the same need assessment?
No, this is DYCD's needs assessment.
Okay, no, I know it's
community boards do their budgeting requests, right? Survey.
No, more. Let me say this. The same survey, the one that you was talking about, from DYCD, the needs, we always do it, and I did it through DYCD.
Through the neighborhood advisory board, yes, it's the same one. Yes, it's been going on for the last 58 years.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. Is this is this 58 years? Yes, I was
it's
around.
the same, but it's expanded, is what it is.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jackie.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, Mr. Chair.
Nita, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It seems to be a well thought out and a program that's easy to execute online. So great work. I'll now entertain a motion to accept Anita's presentation. Motion to accept.
Oh, sorry.
Linda, thank you. Seconded by
Patel, Basumati Patel.
Ms. Patel. Thank you for the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you very much, Anita.
There is a question, Mr. Chair. There's a question, did we accept the minutes for the last meeting?
Yes, we did. We did. Linda Walters moved the motion and Gregory Hambrick seconded.
Any other questions? Moving along, old business, just reminding everyone, and I thank everyone who logged on tonight and joined us, because how important it is for us to conduct business is when we have a quorum. So thank you, everyone, for ensuring the fact that we had a quorum. New business, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 16th at 6 p.m. Anita, any other new business?
Sorry about the phone. No, there's no other.
No other new business? Okay.
No other.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I would like to take the opportunity to wish everyone with the upcoming Easter and Passover holidays very happy and healthy, wonderful holidays to you all. We'll now entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. It is now 7:36 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Jackie Rowe Adams, thank you. Seconded by
Derek Tate.
Eric Tate. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
You
Good
too.
evening.
Thank you.
Have a good evening,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Good evening.
Have a good
My
evening.
condolences.
Bye.
My condolences, Mr. Herschel. Sorry about that.